Hello, and welcome back to our Bible study time. So instead of doing a study on a particular subject, we're going to try to answer some questions today. And one of the questions that has come up is a good question. It's an interesting question. I'm sure it's a question that a lot of us have thought about. Will there be sex in eternity? Well, I can give you a definite no. There will be no sex in eternity. As much as sex is a good thing, it has allowed God to do some things here in the earth, but there won't be sex in heaven. Listen to what Jesus says in Matthew 22, verses 29 and 30. And this is Jesus himself speaking. And the question came up because of a conversation he was having, I think, with the Pharisees, if I remember correctly. Jesus answered and said unto them, You do error, not knowing the scriptures nor the power of God. For in the resurrection they neither marry nor are given in marriage, but are as the angels are in heaven. And so, what he's saying here is that we won't be getting married, we won't be marrying, and there won't be any sex. We know that angels, I'm not going to say they're sexless, but they certainly don't live to have sex. We certainly have addressed some other issues about that, some other questions at another time. However, in this particular question today, the answer is no. There will be no sex in heaven. So now that brings us to another question. If there's no sex in heaven, why do we have sex here on the earth? Because God used sex as a means to refill the earth. The Genesis says in the King James that God said, said to man, be fruitful and multiply, fill the earth. And so God, even though there was a hiccup, I call it a hiccup, it was more than a hiccup, but Adam sinned, but God had a plan. The Bible says that the earth was made to be inhabited. So God went ahead and he filled the earth with humans. God did not stop. He went ahead and he completed his plan. Let me read to you from 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verses 1 through 5. And I want to read to you from the New Language Translation here. 1 Corinthians chapter 7. I think that's where we want to go. It says, now regarding the question you ask in your letter, yes, it is good to abstain from sexual relationship, but because there is no sexual, bear with me here, no sexual immorality, each man should, I'm not reading that right. Let me read that to you again. It's not sounding right. Now, regarding the question that you ask in your letter, yes, it is good to abstain from sexual relationship, but because there is so much sexual immorality, each man should have his own wife, and each woman should have her own husband. And the husband should fulfill his wife's sexual needs, and the wife should fulfill her husband's needs. The wife gives authority over her body to her husband, and the husband gives authority over his body to his wife. Do not deprive, verse 5 says, each other of sexual relationship unless you both agree to refrain from sexual intimacy for a limited time so you can give yourself more completely to prayer. And I think one translation says prayer and fasting. And so sex was designed, and it's a pleasurable experience, but it was designed by God for the purpose of filling the earth with humankind. There will be no need for that in heaven. There was going to be a number of humans who get saved. You say, well, what's that number? I have no idea. I probably couldn't even come up with a word that would describe that number. But we know that from all tongues and races, people have given their life to Christ, and those who lived before Christ came on the scene was looking to God. They lived what they knew. God dealt with them. They went to Abraham's bosom. And so there will be no need for sex. As wonderful as sex is between a husband and a wife, notice what I said. Now, I said between a husband and a wife, it has a purpose. And that purpose is to fill the earth with mankind. And so, as a result, there will be no need for sex in heaven, and there will be no sex in heaven. Man, humans who go to heaven, will be like the angels. They will neither engage in sex, they neither engage in the giving of marriage or the receiving of marriage. And so the answer to that question, will there be sex in eternity, is absolutely no. There's no need for sex in heaven or eternity. So listen, until next time, may God bless you, may God keep you, and thank you for listening.